Welcome to Hero Villains. In your opinion, who would win, Oblivion from Marvel Comics or the Empty Hand from DC Comics?
Oblivion is one of the most ancient and terrifying entities in the Marvel Universe, the embodiment of nothingness, and the inevitable end of all existence. He is not merely a destroyer, but an abstract concept of ending itself, existing alongside life and death. Oblivion does not need to fight in the conventional sense, because his mere presence is enough to devour reality, erase space, time, and even higher-level divine beings. The Empty Hand, from the DC Multiverse, is the embodiment of decay and rot. He represents a force that stands outside all concepts of hero or villain, existing solely to erode the meaning of reality itself. The Empty Hand does not only destroy the physical world, but also fractures the structure of the multiverse, manipulates entities such as the Dark Multiverse, and pushes cosmic gods to the brink of collapse. In this confrontation, Oblivion wields the power of absolute erasure, where everything dissolves into nothingness, while the Empty Hand consumes the very essence of existence, destroying reality from within its own conceptual foundation. Before we go deeper into the analysis, please subscribe to the channel and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much for your support. The power of Oblivion stands on the same tier as eternity, infinity, and death. These four entities exist as the supreme pillars of the universe, each representing an irreplaceable concept. Among them, death and eternity form two clearly opposing poles, one ending all existence, the other sustaining the endless flow of time. Similarly, infinity and oblivion oppose each other, one being the sum of all possibilities, the other absolute erasure. This explains why infinity can only confront oblivion and never directly battle death. When the conflict reached its peak, oblivion summoned death itself, while infinity responded with the manifestation of eternity. Before that moment, both infinity and oblivion had already agreed to summon aspects of themselves, turning the battle into a collision between the purest concepts. Because of this, the multi-eternity cannot be a true opponent to the Chaos King, since Oblivion is not his opposing extreme. If the Chaos King were merely an aspect of the goddess of death, the multi-eternity could erase him from reality in an instant. If infinity were summoned instead of eternity, the fate of the Chaos King would be even more swift. He would vanish not because of weakness, but because he stood on the wrong side in the game of supreme cosmic forces. An aspect of infinity once confronted an aspect of oblivion directly, and that battle took place on the highest level of existence. The two did not merely clash, but restrained each other in a state of absolute balance, each displaying transcendent power far beyond all limits. If Oblivion truly surpassed the one above all, as many believe, why was his aspect unable to crush infinity instantly? The truth is revealed when examining the nature of cosmic aspects. They are not equal in power. A clear example appears with Doctor Strange, when the cosmic aspect of the Living Tribunal displayed absolute authority, nearly suffocating Strange's entire reality in a single moment. This proves that there are different degrees of power, with some entities dominating, some standing as equals, and others being surpassed. In contrast, the fact that an aspect of Oblivion was able to stalemate an aspect of infinity is the clearest evidence. Both possess power beyond infinity itself, neither yielding, neither holding absolute advantage. In that moment, the universe did not witness a victor, but a pure collision between two supreme concepts, where power was no longer measured by victory or defeat, but by the fragile balance of existence itself. The Chaos King destroyed up to 90% of the multiverse, so he is naturally regarded as a complete aspect of Oblivion. But the true nature of that process must be re-examined. The Chaos King did not erase the multiverse in a single instant. He carried out destruction slowly, step by step, suffocating reality. Each time a god fell, he absorbed their power and gradually grew stronger. Therefore, the Chaos King referenced by Oblivion represents his initial state, before he began the chain of slaughter and the plundering of power from other entities. Even the Creator has confirmed that the void and the outside world exist beneath the far shore of all reality. This means that the void lies even lower than the brilliant white mystery room, which is considered the convergence point of countless realities and the home of pure ideas. Oblivion is not merely an entity, but the embodiment of non-existence itself, a concept that transcends all definitions of life, death, or action. In that state, there is no concept of attack or defense, and the void does not consist of only one layer. There is the space outside the universe represented by eternity and infinity. There is the realm of death associated with the goddess of death, and far beyond all of these layers, the outside world exists silently, cold and absolute. In that place, all power, no matter how vast, is nothing more than a fragile idea, easily swallowed by the eternal silence of Oblivion. The true form of Oblivion, which his character represents, goes far beyond all of this. As he has stated, anything that looks upon his true non-existent form will cease to exist, which is logical because something that exists cannot look upon non-existence. He is impervious to anything that exists. What does this imply about his nature and power? Unlike eternity, infinity, and death, his true form cannot exist within the multiverse because by definition it does not exist at all. He is the state of existence of all things when they do not exist. Although his manifestations stand on the same level as eternity, and even the living tribunal in certain aspects, his true power can never be accessed because it is nothingness and therefore cannot exist. Even entities such as anti-all or null are merely aspects similar to the Chaos King. The Chaos King represents the same thing as anti-all and null, because each entity represents different embodiments of the void between the cycles of the multiverse. Anti-all represents the void between the third and fourth universes. Even Galactus, the bringer of life, cannot remain in the outside world, which is essentially Oblivion, for long without risking psychological damage. This demonstrates that Oblivion is far more powerful than the Ultimates, Multi-Eternity, and similar beings. As for how powerful Oblivion truly is, I cannot say for certain without more evidence, but I believe his power is comparable to that of the Living Tribunal. I sincerely hope you will subscribe to the channel. It would help us greatly, and you are truly amazing. Thank you very much. Now let us talk about the Empty Hand. The Empty Hand is regarded as the right hand of the darkness, the one tasked with settling and claiming everything left behind after the collapses of reality. He is not merely an instrument that carries out a will, but the embodiment of gathering remnants, where all dead worlds are dragged into an endless void. The Empty Hand is placed on the same level as Darkseid, a symbol of absolute power and cosmic oppression. However, when considered in his complete and unified state, he is often judged to be superior, not because of explosive raw strength, but because of his comprehensiveness and his ability to manipulate reality on a deeper level. The second multiverse, the homeland of the Empty Hand, did not vanish into nothingness after its destruction. It was devoured by the noble family and by the Empty Hand himself, becoming part of their very essence. The fragments of countless worlds and the echoes of lives that once existed were all dissolved into his power. As a result, the image of the pre-crisis multiverse no longer carries the meaning of a mighty era. It resembles a cosmic corpse, where the Empty Hand and the noble family stand outside as observers, indifferent and mocking. This is not a battle in progress, but a cruel game in which the victor was decided in advance, and reality itself is merely the final toy before being completely crushed. When the darkness confronted the light directly and ultimately established a truce, in that moment, the darkness not only maintained its position but also rose above the Empty Hand himself. However, this did not make him any less dangerous. On the contrary, the Empty Hand revealed his most terrifying nature through the creation of the Oblivion Machine, a device not designed to destroy immediately, but to imprison heroes in an infinite cycle of repeated failure until he personally brings everything to a close. The Oblivion Machine was born as the antithesis of the Miracle Machine, the very construct that once brought hope and helped the heroes defeat Mandrak. If the Miracle Machine turns wishes into reality, then the Oblivion Machine twists and reverses them, rendering victory meaningless. Before such power, the heroes are left with almost no chance to resist. The reason lies in a harsh truth. Heroes exist only within tragedies, and the Empty Hand is the symbol of the moment when everything reaches its final act. Because of this, the Empty Hand almost always holds the ultimate advantage. He does not need to win through sheer force. He only needs to wait, to remain patient and silent, knowing that in the end, Grant once stated that opposing the Empty Hand is completely futile Not because he is overwhelmingly powerful in the conventional sense, but because his very nature is the ending itself. He does not exist as a specific villain that can be defeated. The Empty Hand is more dangerous than any villain that has ever appeared, because he represents an eternal idea that there will always be greater threats waiting ahead. He is a calamity of creation, surpassing Darkseid in both depth and meaning. His power stands above even the gods from the realm of the unknown, a place where his name itself is not permitted to be spoken. Even the gods, though immortal in the eyes of mortals, can still fall and ultimately bow before the emptiness, waiting at the end. As for Earth 33, the world that represents ourselves within fiction, that reality seems incapable of binding the Empty Hand. He is not governed by the laws of Earth 33, nor is he constrained by familiar space or physics. His presence rises above even the solar system, silent and absolute. Such beings affect all the laws of the natural universe, because they are the opposing extremes that dominate those very laws. They exist beyond the comprehension of gods, spreading terror throughout the cosmos. The powerful gentry stand just beneath the Empty Hand in terms of authority. These are beings who literally use comic books to invade the world, and beings from a higher level of reality who replace the monitors after the events of Final Crisis. The Empty Hand can even threaten the readers from Earth Prime, also known as Earth 33, which in the DC universe is believed to be our world, surrounded by a fictional membrane through which only ideas can pass, with a few exceptions such as Superboy Prime. The Empty Hand is far more than that. He can effortlessly erase an entire multiverse with a single wave of his hand. His servants, the Gentry, are immensely powerful entities from the 5th dimension who serve the Empty Hand, and they are far stronger than one might expect. One of them defeated and subdued Nyx Uotan, one of the surviving monitors of Nil. The Empty Hand possesses power very close to that of the One Above All. He stands second only to the Great Darkness, and I do not believe Eternity reaches that level. Both are immortal in nature and cannot be destroyed by conventional means. However, in a prolonged confrontation, the final victory would still lean toward the Empty Hand. The reason lies in the fact that Oblivion is weakened by the very creative nature tied to his existence. The more he is bound to sustaining and reflecting a specific multiverse, the more limited he becomes. The Empty Hand, despite having very few recorded feats, erased an entire multiverse with a single thought, and that multiverse was not merely a simple physical structure. In the main DC universe, a multiverse includes all dimensions, all non-physical worlds that exist beyond the laws of physics, time, and space. That act was not flashy or dramatic, but cold and absolute, true to the nature of one who represents the true end. Oblivion was created by the One Above All and stands beneath the living tribunal in both hierarchy and authority. He is merely an avatar of a deeper concept, completely bound within the scope of the Marvel multiverse. When that multiverse ends, his presence also ceases. The limits of Oblivion power stop at the quantum realm, where abstract entities operate but cannot extend beyond physical laws. He cannot even claim dominion over the dimension of the Beyonders, or the realm of existence that the original Beyonder once reached outside the multiverse of the One Above All. For this reason, Oblivion as a supreme entity has been greatly overstated. Against a being unbound by creation and unrestricted by structure, Oblivion will inevitably falter. Even though the Empty Hand lacks experience and does not need to display his power, he is still a being born to win. Not because he is stronger in the conventional sense, but because he stands behind every ending, where all existence is forced to stop. Before the Dark Crisis era, the Empty Hand was overwhelmingly powerful and likely would have won. Although after the Dark Crisis event his power is said to be the same, there is in fact a clear difference. In this true form, Oblivion might win. Overall, I would need to see Oblivion display power on the level of the new Beyonder. But in reality, that has not happened. Therefore, I can say that the Empty Hand would win in a very close battle. I hope you enjoyed this matchup. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like this content. That is the video for today. Thank you very much.